Welcome to AI Pulse, where we track the news that's shaping our future. It's March 23rd, 2026, and we're diving straight into the biggest moves happening in artificial intelligence right now. No fluff, just the signals that matter. Let's get into it. Think about this. In just the last 24 hours, we're talking billions of dollars committed, new battle lines being drawn, and wild visions for the future being laid out for everyone to see. The pace is just insane, and the stakes could not be higher. The future of AI isn't some far-off idea. It's being built and fought over as we speak. So here's how we're going to break it all down today. We'll start with the visionaries and their incredible promises. Then, we'll dive into the war of the titans for control of the market. After that, we'll look at who is actually building the future of AI. And finally, we'll see how all of this is jumping from the virtual world into the real one. First up, the visionaries. This is where we look beyond the day-to-day and into the mind-bending ambition that's really driving the next chapter of AI. And you can't really talk about ambition without talking about Elon Musk. In a presentation, he wasn't just talking about bigger data centers. No, he was talking about literally rewriting the rules, pushing computation to the very edge of what physics allows. Wild and crazy things indeed. Now, to get your head around what he's proposing, just look at this comparison. Right now, the entire planet's chip production adds up to about 20 gigawatts of compute power a year. Musk is talking about a single facility, his Terafab, that could produce 1 terawatt. That's 1,000 gigawatts. It's not just a step up, it's a 50 times leap into the stratosphere. Truly astronomical. But while Musk is shooting for the stars, Apple is focused on a totally different frontier, our daily lives. Their whole game is less about these massive moonshots and more about weaving powerful AI so seamlessly into our lives that we barely even notice it's there. And boy, are they moving fast. Just look at the schedule. The next iOS update could drop any day now. We're expecting them to announce the dates for their big developer conference this week. But the one to watch? The beta for iOS 26.5, which could land as soon as March 30th. That might be our very first look at a brand new Siri supercharged with Google's Gemini AI. Okay, so from what's coming, let's shift gears to the battles happening right now. This is all about the high-stakes conflicts, the billion-dollar contracts, and, of course, the mad dash for talent. And at the center of it all today is a truly seismic deal. We're talking about a reported $50 billion agreement between Amazon and OpenAI that is sending shockwaves through the industry. It's threatening to blow up what was supposed to be one of the most solid partnerships in all of AI. So, how did we get here? Well, first you have to understand that Microsoft has an exclusive deal making its Azure cloud the only home for OpenAI's main models. But here's the twist. Amazon just waltzed in with a huge deal of its own to host OpenAI's new platform called Frontier on its cloud. As you can imagine, Microsoft says this is a huge violation and they are gearing up for an all-out legal war to protect their investment. And in case you think this is just some corporate posturing, listen to this. A source close to Microsoft didn't mince words, basically saying, "We will sue them." They're essentially daring Amazon and OpenAI to make a move, which just shows you how incredibly high the tension is right now. So, while this corporate soap opera is playing out, OpenAI is in the middle of a massive hiring blitz. They're planning to almost double their team to 8,000 people by the end of the year. This isn't just about growth. It's a strategic talent grab to accelerate as fast as possible while the competition is heating up. All this amazing software, these billion-dollar chess moves, they don't happen in a vacuum. They need a real physical foundation to run on. So in this section, we're looking at the unsung heroes, the essential hardware and infrastructure that makes this entire AI revolution even possible. And it really begs the question, right? When you look past the famous names like NVIDIA or OpenAI, who are the companies that are actually laying the pipes and pouring the concrete for this new world? Well, the stock market just gave us a massive hint. 2 of these key infrastructure companies are being added to the S&P 500. Now, why does that matter? Because it means that trillions of dollars in investment funds now have to buy their stock. It's like a multi-billion-dollar fire hose of cash being pointed right at them, putting a huge spotlight on what they do. So, who are they? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. Vertiv is the plumbing and the power grid. And Lumentum, well, Lumentum is the high-speed nervous system. Both are absolutely vital, but they do totally different things inside an AI data center. Let's dig in. Vertiv makes the super advanced power and cooling systems you need to keep these monster data centers from literally melting. The demand is so crazy, they reportedly have a $15 billion order backlog. Then you have Lumentum. They make the tiny optical parts that let data move at the speed of light, a technology so important they've locked in a strategic partnership with NVIDIA itself. Okay, for our last stop today, let's connect all these dots. We're going from the virtual world of code and contracts to the real, tangible impacts, from massive security risks to actual robots running down the street. First, let's talk risk. Oracle just had to rush out an emergency patch for what they're calling a critical vulnerability. The severity score is a 9.8 out of 10, which is about as bad as it gets. It basically allows an attacker to take over a system without even needing a password, like leaving the front door wide open. And this really highlights something huge. As we start weaving AI into the systems that manage our data, our identities, everything, the consequences of a failure like this become absolutely devastating. The cybersecurity stakes have truly never been higher. But it's not all doom and gloom. On a completely different and kind of wild note, it was just announced that over 300 humanoid robots are going to compete in a half marathon in Beijing. No, this isn't a simulation. It's a pretty powerful image of AI and robotics literally taking their first steps out of the lab and into our world. So, physics-defying ambitions, billion-dollar corporate feuds, critical security flaws, and robots running marathons. And that was all in just one day. The pace of change is just breathtaking, which leaves us with one final, really important question. Are we actually ready for what's coming next?